Hey guys, Nick here. I'm going to go ahead and just state the obvious. This is a marketing tool for my real estate business. I've been a realtor for 20 years right here in Nashville, but who wants to listen to a boring podcast about real estate? Good news, it's not. This is a podcast about people that I've built relationships with since I moved here in 1988. If what I stand for resonates with you and you're looking to buy or sell a home in this area, let's talk. No pressure, just a conversation, kind of like this podcast.
This is the 615 Podcast with your host, veteran realtor and entrepreneur, Nick Woodard.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming back to the 615 Podcast. Today, we have a buddy of mine who's a singer, songwriter, business owner, entrepreneur, and fellow resident, my friend, Mr. Chuck Wicks.
That's right. That's right, guys.
What's up, buddy?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Here we are.
I've known Chuck for a long time. I don't know, 15, 20 years. I think Catherine worked with you back in the music industry days.
Yeah.
In management. And I think that's where we kind of met each other.
When you say music industry days, what do you mean?
When she was.
When she was, yeah.
I mean, she still is. She's Jana's manager, but
yeah.
She was heavily more into the music side of things.
Now she's more movies, right?
Well, Jana's doing movies, influencing, all the stuff.
All the stuff.
So now she's doing, Catherine's doing all the stuff opposed to just the music industry stuff.
Yeah, I love it.
So
great girl, by the way.
Both
of them, and Jana.
I want to start with I love hearing the songwriters and artists moving to Nashville story.
Yes.
So let's start with that. Let's. Where did you grow up, and what ended up bringing you to Nashville?
I grew up in Delaware, and we were potato farmers. We were like just normal people. All my neighbors were my aunts and uncles, and I didn't even know about the music industry until college. So I thought I was going to get drafted as a baseball player. That was my goal. Like I just wanted to work on a farm. I wanted to play baseball. I wanted to find a hot girlfriend, nice truck.
The American dream.
Yes. Live on the farm. Who cares? Let's have kids. Let's have a lot. Let's have a lot of kids. Play professional sports. And then that's it. I was good. Went to college, played baseball, figured out I wasn't going to get drafted. So I picked up a guitar. And then next thing you know, I'm taking trips back and forth to Nashville because my vocal coach at the time, I was like, let's figure this out because this is fun. I love singing. I've always loved singing. I just never knew how to turn it into a business. I just did it because I loved it. I would imitate all the guys on the radio, like in the shower, like most of us do. And I would, then my friends would be like, oh man, you sound just like Tracy Lawrence or like Joe Diffie. You're like, do it again, like imitate him again. So I lived in like that imitation world. It wasn't like a Chuck Wicks, the artist, when I was 16. Like I didn't even know that was a thing. So I went down to college, continued the pursuit of baseball.
So where'd you play? Where'd you go?
Florida Southern College. Okay. And this girl, she played soccer, and she found out, she's like, hey, I heard you can sing. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's fun. I'm like, yeah, it's fun. I like to imitate, I think Rascal Flatts at the time just came out with their first single. And so this would have been like,
oh, and I'm sure you can imitate LaVox's.
I mean,
sound.
He's pretty
exactly.
Good. He's pretty good. Not that I'm not good, I guess, but he's pretty good. So college for me would have been 98, 98, 99. So it was in that realm. So when I went to Florida Southern College, that was like near Orlando, right? Mm. So that was when all the boy band boom was going on. So NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, O-Town, all that stuff was just, crushing it, and especially in Orlando. That was the melting pot for that. So this girl that played soccer at Florida Southern, she goes, hey, I heard you can sing. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. And she goes, well, we should sing together sometime. I'm like, yeah, we should. And so she was cute. I'm like, let's sing together. I'm like, maybe this is a thing. I didn't know this was a thing. Let's sing together. So she comes over to my dorm room. And we sang together. Like she's like, this is my favorite song right now. I think it was like with Ricky Martin and all that. All that stuff. So she sings, I don't know what song it was. So she's like, hey, you need to meet my manager. I'm like, man, what are you talking about? Like, I don't even know what a manager is. And she goes, no, I'm trying to pursue a pop career. She's like, we're putting together a group. She's like, okay. I want you to you need to meet my manager and be a part of this group. I'm like, all right. I mean, okay,
So
let's
this
go.
is some chick from college just already has a manager and
Yeah, and I was like, this is cool. Like she seems like she's way in advance because I still at this time didn't know what Nashville was, didn't know it existed and all that stuff. And she goes, yeah, well, let's, you might be great for this group we're putting together. I'm like, well, this should be fun. I mean, guys, I'm like 20 years old,
of course,
19, 20 years old. I'm like, let's do it. And it was 2 guys and 2 girls in the group. The guy I met, his name was Jim McMahon. First of all, I'm like, the football player?
Yeah, there's no.
There's the manager, Jim McMahon. And he was like out of Tampa, Florida or something like that. And great guy, nice guy. He ended up, fast forwarding, he ended up moving up here to open up a Nashville office like 20 years later. And I don't know whatever happened to it, but I meet this guy and that's what got the wheels turning for me. I'm like, oh, this can be something. This could be something. I'm like, and when I kind of steered away from baseball and really leaned into the music, I knew I wasn't a pop artist. Like that wasn't a goal of mine. I knew I loved country music. So through that process, I met a vocal coach, and the vocal coach was like, you're a country singer, like through and through. You need to go to Nashville. And that's when I learned about Nashville. So my vocal coach down in Florida, and when I say vocal coach, I was just doing it like, I'd meet her once a week. We'd work on breathing techniques. I wasn't like I was getting ready for something. I was just trying to make my voice stronger, better. Where did I fit into the mix? Can I do this? Can I not do this? There's a lot of guesswork still at the same. So she goes, hey, I used to intern up in Nashville, RCA Records. I still know people that work there. I want to take you up there and introduce you to people in Nashville. I'm like, great, this is cool. So I would go up there to Nashville here, and we would meet all these people. And like the one guy that I met, Loring was his name, we're still friends. Well, his wife, Debbie Loring, used to work at Curb Records. So now in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm meeting somebody that works at Curb Records, somebody that works at Sony, RCA Records. So I'm meeting these people in college. And very, very long story short is it just, the connection span just kept getting deeper.
So there's no Chuck Wicks stories of sleeping in your car and waiting tables.
Nope. No, nor would I take that route. That is not in my bloodstream. I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel
like, if I step into it, I'll lean into it.
If it works, it's meant to work. Like I'm not going to go sleep outside for. And now power to the people that do that. Of course. Because that's a whole different kind of passion or whatever. But I also like to be, secure. So
you're like, hell, I'll go back and work on a farm. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I told my parents, I was like, hey, I'm going to start going up back and forth to Nashville with the singing stuff. And they're like, you sing? Like they did that's like a lot of these people, a lot of these artists that break through or whatever, they grew up singing in churches and they grew up singing in their family band, or they grew up, just in their room, just, learning the guitar left and right. That was not my deal. My deal was I just loved to sing and imitate guys on the radio. Then the right people heard that version of me and said, hey, we really need to talk about, like, do you want to do this? Because you've got a great voice and we love your look. And that's how it kind of started. And through me taking trips back and forth while I was still in college, I ended up meeting the right people for RCA Records. I met a guy named Jim Catino, and I'll never forget this day. So still in college, I'm a big country music fan. So I'm walking through the offices of RCA Records. I'm seeing the plaques on the wall, and I'm like, this is nuts. And I'm meeting Jim Catino, and he's like one of the new guys at the A&R side.
Yeah, I love Jim.
And so I meet with Jim. He hears my demo. I did a horrible demo. This is how much I didn't know about the music business. I did a demo. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, all right, I want the labels that hear this. I want them to know that I can sing this way and that way. There was no like direction.
Right.
So I sang an Andy Grigg song, acoustic vocal, and I sang a Brian McKnight song, piano vocal, because I wanted to cover R&B side of what I love singing and countryside. And that way they can see like, oh, he can do this and this and that. That was my thinking. Right. So he hears it. He's like, calls me while I'm up in town in Nashville. And he goes, "Hey man, I heard you're in town for another day. I know you leave tomorrow. Can you stop by my office? I'd like to talk to you and about your demo. I think there's something here." And this was in the middle of June during CMA Fest. So I walk into his office. He goes, "Man, I really like this." And he goes, "So what's your story?" I told him a story. I'm in college, blah, blah, blah. He goes, "Can you like sing for me a little bit?" And I'm like, "Right now?" He goes, "Yeah, I mean, just sing." I'm like, "Well, yeah, but I don't like play an instrument. I didn't play a guitar at all. I just sang."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Man," I was like, I don't just a cappella." He's like, "Yeah, just sing whatever, man." He's like, "I just want to hear you in person." And so I sang for him in person, nervous wreck. And he goes, "All right, man, this is great, man. I want to continue to talk." He's like, "I really think there's something. I want to introduce you to a guy named Monty Powell." Monty Powell used to, one of the best songwriters in town. He did all Diamond Rio's early stuff, and great guy. He's like, "I want to introduce you to him. He's a producer, and I want to get you in the studio with him and to see what he thinks." And I'll never forget Jim. He's like, "Well, I got to get going. I got to go down to the Nissan Stadium to go see Kenny do a sound check for CMA Fest." And I'm like, "Kenny Chesney?" He's like, "Yeah, I got to go." I'm like, "All right, that's cool. Can I go? I can change my flight. Can I change my flight?" And he went. So it was like such a weird world for me because I was so green. I was a fan. Like I was just I was a fan of music.
Things just kept kind of happening.
And I would go back to college and tell my buddies, like, "You're not going to believe like what I'm doing right now." And they would be like, "That's awesome." And so through that process, I ended up signing a development deal with RCA Records. And that's when I moved to Nashville. So I had not written songs yet. I was just a singer, showcasing like, "Yo, I can sing. I love country music. This is what I sound like. This is what I look like." Come up, do the development deal. Through that development deal in RCA, that's when I started learning the craft of songwriting. So meeting Monty Powell, one of the best things that happened to me because he's one of the best songwriters in the town, especially at that time. And he's now, because I'm on RCA and a development deal, now all the best songwriters are like, "Yeah, I want to write with that kid. I want to write with that kid. He's on RCA. Oh, cool, great. So I'm a big believer in it's easy to walk into the room, but it's hard to stay in the room. So that was my goal, was like every person that I met to keep that relationship, not just have it be a one-off. So I ended up moving to Nashville. I left college 3 classes short of graduating. My parents were like, "All right, well, if just promise me if it doesn't work out, you're going to come back and finish." I was like, "Of course." I mean, I don't have a college degree.
So when are you going back?
I'm not. Actually, you know what? I got bored one day. I was like, "I'm going to call Florida Southern and see, I'm going to finish online or something." And they're like, "Yeah, so we got your records here. It's been so long since you've been in college that our curriculum's changed. So you actually have 16 credits now to finish, to meet our standards."
Like, I'm good now. I'm good.
I'm like, "How about, can I get an honorary degree?" Because they put me on their website and all that stuff of like famous alumni. Right. And I'm like, "Dude, I don't want you using my name if you're not going to give me a degree." Anyway, I tried. They're like, "Yeah, you're out of luck, dude."
So like you kind of started off strong. You had the Cinderella story. Was it Stealing Cinderella?
Yeah. Well, so
then you went on, you had some cuts with Aldine.
Yeah. And it wasn't really in that order. So like when I signed a development deal, I got up here and a week later they dropped me from the development deal. So the development deal got me here. Then I got dropped from RCA. They're like, "You're not ready." So I listened to him. I believed him. And instead of moving back to college, I'm like, "You know what? Screw it. This is what I want to do." That gave me the tunnel vision. Like, this is what I want to do. So I dug my heels in, stayed here, got a job parking cars, and just wrote songs for 4 years straight with all these relationships that I made through the development deal. So I kept
that's
writing.
The story we want right there.
Yeah. So I kept writing. And I didn't find my actual sound, like who I was as an artist, who Chuck Wicks was as an artist, until that process happened. And through that process, I learned how to play the guitar. So, which is crazy because I learned how to play the guitar in 4 years.
Yeah.
In 4 years, I was like, I can go out and play by myself, do a show.
See, that's something I've tried to pick up many, many times. Can't do it. Just can't do it.
You have to if anybody's listening and you want to learn a guitar and you're like, there's no way I can do it. It has to be a daily structured thing. And you have to get the right teacher.
Yeah. I can do chords. I can, put it together, but
so you can play.
I can play, but it doesn't flow in my head properly.
I had a girl that taught the girl that taught me guitar, woman, she taught me how to play guitar to write songs. So she would teach me the chord structures and knowing the number system. Yeah. What the number systems is what all the musicians use. Most Nashville musicians use is the number system. I believe the number system was created here in Nashville. Instead of, because a lot of people can't read music, so they're really good.
Yeah.
So they just created the number system. But I learned the number system, and that allowed me to learn how to operate in a studio when making a record. Because then you're like, no, I go to the 1 and then the 4, and then maybe do a 2 minor and a 5, and then go to the 5 there and do whatever at the end or so. But I learned all the lingo and the language for that process. But yeah, man, I listened to RCA when they said I wasn't ready. And I took that sports mentality that I grew up around. And I said, all right, obviously they know something. I mean, they're RCA records. So I chose not to go back to, or, shop any other deals anywhere until I felt I was ready. And I went right back to RCA 4 years later. And before I got on the elevator to go back down, they signed me on the spot.
That's awesome.
It was pretty cool. And then an hour before that, I saw Capitol Records. So we had 2 meetings that day, Capitol and RCA or Sony or whatever you want to call it. Capitol, they were like, man, we really, we love you. You great voice, good look, all that good stuff. But we just signed a guy last year that is very similar to you, and he's about to have a single out. I'm like, who are they talking about? They're like, Luke Bryan. I'm like, well, and at the time,
luck and timing, baby. That's great. That's great.
At the time, you don't know who he is. He didn't have
right.
any songs out. So you're like, all right. And I'm like, but now I'm looking back, I'm like, Luke Bryan don't sound like me. I don't sound like him.
No.
We don't sound like each other. Maybe similar looking, like a dark features or whatever you want to call it, but
he's a lot better looking than you are.
Totally. Luke Bryan's hot. Yeah.
Well, man, tell us about the phase of getting your act together in that 4 years, and let's say not getting your act together, but songwriting. Like we've got a mutual friend, Kelly Lovelace, who we've had on here, who's a well-known songwriter. And he explained the absolute grind of writing songs. Mm-hmm. Most people think oh, someone's a brilliant mind. They just come up with something.
Right.
It's like, okay, like Kelly's written, I don't know how many number ones, but it's literally a fraction of the actual songs he's written.
Yeah.
So it takes so much work to end up getting one of those that actually hits.
Yeah. I mean, Kelly's a true songwriter. He day in, day out, Monday through Friday or whatever you want to call it. I mean, he's going to crank out songs. There's other people that will just write with artists, which that's what I would recommend. Yeah. If you're a songwriter, if you're not writing with the artist, your chances of getting a cut on an artist are extremely low. If you're writing with the artist, for their record, your chances just went up.
Again,
80%.
Why is that? Is it because
the artist wants to be on the record as a writer, and you're in the room in real time writing for what they see and envision as a song for them. I mean, because I did it as an artist. So I had songs pitched to me all the time, right? Well, here's all the songs that are pitched to me that I did not write. Then here's all the songs that I did write with the same writers that wrote all these songs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, if there's a love song over here I really like, and there's a love song over here that I really like, and they're pretty similar, I'm going to pick the one that I wrote.
Of course.
So not just for financial reason, but for, and
you're building your brand, your catalog, your everything.
It's just more believable if you're like, I wrote that song.
Yeah.
And I wrote all my songs, I think, except one. Every song I've ever put out, I've written all the songs except one.
Who are your favorite? Some of your favorite songwriters here in town?
Well, when I was writing a lot specifically for my record, it was Monty Powell, Neil Thrasher, Wendell Mobley. I love the way Jason Sellers writes.
I think Rhett Akins has always been my favorite.
Rhett Akins is great. You know what? I don't think I ever wrote with Rhett. There was who is it? My mind went blank. Rodney Clawson.
Yep. He wrote Amarillo Sky.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, if you say he did, I believe you. So
one of our 10 listeners will check me on that.
I could check you on that.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
Rodney's listening right now. He's like, "Yep, didn't write that one." So he's like, "I wish I did."
So man, beyond music, so I've realized that you have done a million things.
Million different things. Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of go down this list. Dancing with the Stars.
That was fun.
Tell us about that one.
That was fun.
That's a lot of work, isn't it?
It was a lot of work.
So when Jana was on it, we went and saw her. I was like, the girl put in a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. So the situation. So a lot of people don't know this, but because it was like a blip on the radar. But when I was signed with RCA and making my record, do you remember that show Nashville?
Yeah,
the original Nashville, not Nashville with Chip Eston. Nashville, the reality show on Fox, and it came out in 2007 or 8. It would have been 2007. Well, they went around to all the labels. They I want to find an upcoming artist. I want to find this person. I want to find people that don't have deals. Anyway, I was on that reality show called Nashville. I was on it. Jamie Johnson was on it.
Yeah.
If you look it up, if you want to look it up, just look up Nashville Fox, 2007, not ABC Nashville with Chip Eston. And it was the same people that did Laguna Beach on MTV, all that stuff. Same company. They were just a little ahead of the curve as far as Nashville goes and the popularity of Nashville. They were just a little bit ahead of it, so it didn't work out. But we filmed all 10 episodes for Fox while I was on radio tour. And so I was gone Monday through Friday on the road pushing Stealing Cinderella, my first single. And then I'd come back and I'd film Saturdays and Sundays and maybe Mondays. I lost like 20 pounds because I didn't even have time to eat. Like it was crazy. And during the radio tour, it's fun. There's a lot of moments that radio tour is a lot of fun, but and you see the whole world, or the whole country. But we weren't staying at like Ritz-Carltons. We were staying at like the Holiday Inn Express, where if you're doing a deal for a radio station, you get back in, you're exhausted, you want to go to bed, and you're like, man, I'm hungry. Everything's closed, or like there's no room service at these places, and you just end up just going to sleep. At that time in my career, I lost so much weight, but and trust me, I gained it back when I figured out I could drink on the tour bus. But I had that song, Stealing Cinderella, and that song got me out on tour with Brad Paisley. And then, so I toured with Brad Paisley for 2 years. And then through that process,
that was kind of the height of Brad Paisley too, wasn't it?
It was. He was on fire. Yeah. He was doing everything.
Yeah.
He was like the guy. And that was a great learning experience. Cause you were asking me, you're like, oh, so you weren't in your van or like doing, on Broadway, and that's how you were going to get your deal. Man, I went from, if you're following this story, I went from very green in college, development deal, let me stay in town and stay in writers' rooms, figure out who I am as an artist, to record deal in the studio, put Stealing Cinderella out, immediately go
on the road
and immediately go into arenas. I never cut my teeth doing clubs. I never cut my teeth grinding it out anywhere with a band. I mean, that would have been fun to do. It just wasn't in my cards for me. And so it was my very first show was not a club. my very first show with a full band was Denver, Colorado, in the arena where the Nuggets play.
So how was that?
I was nervous.
I can imagine.
I mean, I was like, it was surreal. It was kind of an out of a body experience and I'm excited, man. So I'm backstage. I'm getting ready to go on, and the curtains. And you've been backstage in an arena tour, like so. It's dark, unless if you got your stage manager with the flashlight. But we were so green, I didn't have my stage manager back there showing me where the opening was to the curtain to get through, and they didn't take it off.
Chuck Wicks.
Well, I couldn't find I was like, where in the fuck? And I'm like, I finally get out there, and I'm like, okay, here we go.
It's like a Spinal Tap moment.
It was. I couldn't find it. I'm like, and it was so like, it was such, I still remember it. I mean, I still remember the smell, the sound, everything. And that was such a cool, how to just get thrusted in there. And then through the success of Cinderella, because we were the highest debuting new country artist of the year.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were the highest debuting. I was a guy that year. And so that was a hit. And then I came out, All I Ever Wanted became a hit. And then I met Julianne Hough. So because she was jumping on the Paisley tour, the second half of it or whatever. And we started dating. Well, through that's how I get landed on Dance with the Stars, because it was me, it was Jewel, the artist Jewel, who will save your soul. Julianne, myself, and Brad, and Dancing with the Stars. They were coming out to look at Jewel to be on the show. And they also were there to see Julianne because she was one of the pro dancers. So the casting director found out about me that way, because I was going to, at the time, Julianne was on one of the season before I was on. She was on that season. So I would go out to LA and watch her, as any good boyfriend would do. So I'm watching her, and I would meet everybody backstage. I met the Kardashians. I mean, everybody. I was seeing Bruce Jenner before, he was still Bruce Jenner.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hasn't really changed that much, by the way.
No,
he's still Bruce
really
Jenner
hasn't.
to me. I don't, just got long hair, and other things, but I don't know. I didn't look.
But you met Wheaties Box Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, I did. I bet it was interesting because it's all, I don't know why they took interest to me, but they knew I was a country singer. And I think they're like, oh, this looks good. And I remember Dina Katz, I think her daughter, Dina Katz is the casting director, and she's great. And so her daughter, I think, saw me backstage, and she always lets her daughter help her pick a celebrity.
Okay.
And I think her daughter kind of was like, I really like Chuck, the guy that the country singer is dating Julianne. I think he's cool. And I think she was 14, 15 years old or something. And it's so funny. I think there's always a Disney person on Dance with the Stars. And I think her daughter had a big part in figuring out what Disney characters are the popular ones. And so I think that was a big play. And it was at the end of the season. It was at the end of the Dance with the Stars season before I was on. They called me into their office and like, hey, Chuck. Because at that time I'm seeing them every week. I'm like, hey, what's up? I thought they were just going to be like, what's up? They're like, I'm sitting around with all the executives.
Get your ass in here.
Yeah, they're
dance.
Pretty much. No, take your shirt off. Let me see. This is a weird casting couch. Thought there would be one person. So I get in there and they're like, hey, we love your personality. We think you're a great guy and love your music. And we're excited for your success there. We think you would be a great addition to next year's cast of Dance with the Stars. I thought they were joking. And I go, for real? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
So they haven't even seen you dance. They have no concept of.
Well, that's not how they pick.
You're athletic. I mean, you played ball, so they probably knew.
I mean, listen, I got a pretty athletic gait. I don't know if you saw me walk in here. That's a good.
I've seen you in the gym every day.
No,
I
mean, that's
noticed.
what. By the way, that's what athletes use. That's lingo, gait. an athletic gait.
See, to me, that's just a audio processing term.
Oh, see, horses, if they have a good gait.
Yes.
Yeah.
A good trot.
Good trot. Well, you want a good gait.
Good gait.
It's not
So
you can tell he's not an athlete.
No.
He's like, yeah, I'll trot. Oh, let's do a trot.
I'll have you know, I was
I can't wait. What?
an all-region honorable mention in high school.
What sport?
Football.
Football. And Water Boy of the Year.
And I happen to be a pole vaulter. How many of them do you know?
I played roller hockey.
So a lot of people,
And I'm a drummer.
A lot of people don't know this. I won a bunch of gold medals pole vaulting. And the reason is
I did not.
You're the only one?
nobody had pole vaulters. So we would go to the meets.
No competition.
There we go.
You took the path of least resistance.
As did you.
How?
Okay, so now you're a dancer. Dance away, boy. Tell us how that went.
Well, so I obviously I said yes. I was actually supposed to be, Julianne was set to retire from dancing that last season that she was on. And I think I was supposed to be teamed up with a dancer called Edita. That's her name. That's what she's called. Edita. And she was like the really good looking dancer and stuff like that. She was one of the more popular ones. I think Julianne found out about that, so she came back to do my season. So I was her last.
Yep.
I was her last partner on that show. Now she, of course, hosts the show and does a great job. But that was a fun time because it was all this stuff to me was very surreal because I'm such a normal dude. Like I still think normal. I still realize moments like. If I walk into a very cool moment, I realize what that moment is.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it.
Good.
And I'm like thankful for it. And I'm like, I'll get home from that moment and I'll call my mom or I'll call my dad and I'll be like, you're not going to believe what just happened. Or call my friends and be like, hey, remember when we went to Jimmy Buffett's concert in West Palm and sang Garth Brooks songs all the way home. And then we took their finals and we passed. I'm like, I was sitting at the table with Jimmy Buffett. And Garth was on stage. I'm like, and they'd be like, what? I'm like, yeah, it was the ASCAP Awards. It was crazy. And like those moments, I think they're awesome.
So you're still a fan at heart. You truly appreciate
I just
it.
appreciate I just appreciate the opportunities that come. And it seems a little too normal now. Like you probably see it too. You'll be hanging out with somebody that's like, really famous or whatever, and you'll have one of your friends back home call you, be like, dude, what the fuck, man? You were hanging out with this guy? And I'm like, yeah, what's the big, like, we're going to, my brother is a big Jason Momoa fan. And I go, hey, we're going to Dubai. My wife and I are going to Dubai for our wine company. And I go, we're going out there with Jason Momoa. I'm like, we're going out for our wine company. He's going out there for a vodka company. We're going to meet the royal family out there in Dubai because they make all the decisions on what comes in and out of the country. And he's like, oh, dude, what the fuck, man? I'm like, why does this shit happen to you? I'm like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? He's like, get his autograph. I'm like, no, I'm not going to give his autograph. You get his autograph. I am not an autographer. I cannot ask somebody for their autograph.
Well, now autographs old now. Everybody wants the selfie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the selfie game. And my next question was actually going to ask you about the wine label.
Yeah, so Mellorosa
what started
wine.
that?
So, I never thought I'd be in the wine business. Never had a goal for that.
Seem more like a bourbon guy.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is I really don't drink that much.
Well, good.
Lately, I don't drink at all. But I've never been a really big drinker. I did have my moments where I would, get into a rhythm of drinking just, out of necessity or out of just like, it's just right there. Especially when you're on the road, you always have these rooms backstage and they got the liquor room and then, or if you're touring a lot of artists will be like, let's take a shot before we go on stage, like that kind of stuff. But I, outside of my music career, I had a radio career. I still do have a radio career. So I did syndicated radio over at Cumulus for 6 years. And we were in 75 different cities. We did it out of 103.3 in Nashville. And then that was like our home base. And then we were like in New York, Detroit, Albuquerque. We were down in Florida, everywhere. We were everywhere. And so we were a true morning show, country music station. Had the big guests come on, all that stuff. I had better relationships with artists through that than I did as a touring artist. Yeah. Because touring, you're like, you see him real quick backstage. You're like, what up? Or, nod. I never forget doing a festival and Blake Shelton's on the bill and he's got his freaking lawn chair outside of his bus drinking a beer. He goes, Chuck, come on, have a beer with me. My dumbass, I said, well, hold on, I got to go. I'm like, what the fuck? Chuck. Yep. I got to myself at the time. I'm like, why didn't I?
I say those radio guys are the ones that have the relationships with people. Was it Graham Bunn? Like he's friends with everybody.
Yeah. Well, and to that, and I'll say that, and I had no issue saying that. You have to be. I think most radio people know this, or most people that sit in a seat that has a little bit of power or whatever you want to call it over someone's career. That you got to realize that a lot of these artists, including myself, they're really nice to people that can help them. They're really nice to people that can play their record.
Right.
But you can also source out who's genuine and who's not. A lot of these relationships are super genuine, especially in the country format. But you find out really quick which ones are not. I mean, when I was on the morning show, there were some people that would pick up the phone right away. I'm like, yo, you want to come on the morning show? They pick it up right away. Where if now it's like, it's not that they're trying to ignore me, but they ain't picking it up that quick. Right. But I also know the moment I get another spot or another syndicated, they're going to pick it up right away.
Chuck, hey.
And what's crazy about it is to be like, yeah, what's up, dude? Like there's no like animosity towards that. Cause I was there.
It's just the game.
It's just a game and you got to be wanting to play it. But you asked me a question. I think I steered away from it.
I was just asking you about the wine label and what started it. And
so through that, the career in radio, we all got fired during COVID. All of us. They brought a new regime in. Basically, that new VP came in. It was like, yep, everybody's out. I'm bringing my own team in.
Is it because you wouldn't wear the mask?
Yeah, that's what it was. No, what's funny is we did all when COVID went down. No one was allowed in studio, and we did it all from home, from remote. We did a syndicated morning show remote from home.
I mean, I'm shocked they didn't say that you could pass the virus through the airwaves.
Well, what's funny is when I say I get. Listen,
He's like, how do I handle this dumbass?
Right? You just ignore it, right?
He'll go away. Just let it.
It's like a dad joke or something.
Yep,
You just
ignore it.
But what's funny when we were doing that, when I say remote, my co-host and all that stuff, we weren't all in the same. I was remote. They were remote. Our producer was remote. All
How
different.
can you have any chemistry?
It's very hard.
Yeah,
it's very hard. So there's no eye contact or it's delayed or it's like whatever. Anyway, so when we all got fired, Bobby Bones called me like the next day. Because essentially Bobby and I were competitors because I was 103.3. Yeah. He was Big 98. He still is Big 98 and 150 other different affiliates. These guys. I mean, he obviously he does a great job. And so he called me up because listen, I don't know why they let you go, but I'm a fan of yours. I love what you do. I think you're great. He goes, why don't you come and do a podcast? He's like, iHeart's not hiring right now. Cause I wanted to, I finally got a shot to have my own show.
Yeah.
I kind of waited 4 or 5 years till the other leads on the show were left or did something else. And I was like, finally, I'm going to get my shot to take over this, to lead this morning show. And I got it. And then they fired us, so I was just like, well, this sucks. So Bob was like, come on over and, let's do the podcast together. I got my own Nashville podcast network. Let's do it together. And, this is how it works. It's me, iHeart, and you, and you'll be ownership and all that stuff. So we did it. It was called Love Country, Talk to Chuck. And man, it did great. I mean, we shot to 1 million downloads like quick. And I was like, oh, this is great. And we were at one of the top 3 country podcasts out there. It was me, Bobby, and I think Granger Smith had one that would do well every once in a while. And I did that. My thought process on doing that with Bobby was like, all right. And he knew this too, was like, let's bridge the gap here. Let's start working together here. And then hopefully iHeart, there's an opening somewhere where I can develop my brand there with iHeart outside of the podcast and get back on radio. Well, it never really took shape. And through me doing that, I also opened up the Woolworth Theater, created the Shiners show, all that stuff. So that took precedence over this because I was like, well, I've kind of done this and nothing's happening with iHeart. Yeah. So I need to focus on this, because this is what's going to get me further down the road. Nothing's happening here. So I took a step back from that. But to answer your question directly about the wine, during that process, I interviewed a wine company called We the People. And We the People wine was like pretty big wine in political circles and stuff like that. And they ended up branching away from the strict politics of it and went to just like a freedom style deal. And I made a joke. I go, hey, why don't you do a wine that's just Matthew McConaughey's feet stomp the grapes, and you do 100 bottles and you sell them for $1,000 a bottle, and it goes to charity. And it was just a lighthearted deal. And they called me the next day like, hey, we've been thinking about it. We'd love to do a wine with you. Although the Matthew McConaughey thing would be fun. We'd like to do a wine with you. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, this is what we can do. I was like, time out. Sounds fun. No, I don't really think anybody gives a shit if Chuck Wicks has his own wine company. I'm a realist as well. Like I'm pretty, as much as I would like to say people give a shit, they really don't, and that's kind of across the board, right? Like,
what's that? You look at all these celebrities that throw their name on a bourbon brand or liquor brand. What?
They don't care.
Is it good?
Yeah. I think it's cool. Like, great, cool. You got your own brand,
right?
But is it good?
Right.
So I was like, let me talk to my wife about this. I was like, if there's a meaning behind the wine, then let's talk more. So I talked to Cassie. I'm like, listen, we have an opportunity. Could be fun for the family. Could be fun for us to do something together. I was like, what do you think? I was like, if we do this, the wine has to have a backbone, has to have a heartbeat, has to have a story. It's like, why don't we do it around your mom? So and that's where Mellorosa was born. So
that's awesome.
My mother-in-law is Cuban, and I always say my wife's Cuban, my mother-in-law's very Cuban. So my mother-in-law and her 5 sisters defected from Cuba back in 1960 under the Castro regime to escape. They're teenagers, to escape that whole deal, land in Miami, live the American dream. They do. They make it out. They're on one of the last planes out. So because Castro, he wouldn't let American planes pick up.
No.
It had to be like a Canadian airplane or whatever. So they're on, it's like one of the last Canadian airplanes in that time frame that he gave for people to get out if they didn't want to do it. Now, they couldn't leave. They could not leave the country unless they finished their chores. Okay. So as a child, and some of this is not accurate, but it's in a roundabout way. As a kid and as a teenager and all that stuff, you're required to do so much for the country. Like you got to work so many hours or whatever in the tobacco fields or whatever it is. Okay. Well, all the sisters had met those requirements except one. She couldn't go. She couldn't go until she was done doing what was supposed to be done for the country, for Castro. And so they all get out, one of the last planes out. They land in Miami. They're celebrating, high-fiving, happy tears. So we named the wine after that, Mellorosa. Mello is my mother-in-law's maiden name. Rosa is my wife's grandmother's name, Mellorosa. We say when you drink Mellorosa, make a toast to freedom. So that is how our wine was born, really, after that, because we were like, you know what? It's all about family.
You
faith.
got to have the story.
Yeah.
Like the story is what makes it.
Yeah. Family, faith, and freedom, So now we're a celebrity driven wine because Jason has jumped on board. At the beginning, he wasn't. He was a big supporter. Like we went out to Napa together. It was, the whole family went out there and tasted all the different styles of wine and what did we want the juice to be like in our bottle. So when you drink Mellorosa, and you can get it in Nashville, we're about to be in Kroger actually in Nashville. So I'll if you go to my Instagram, Chuck Wicks, I'll put a list of or Mellorosa, I'll put a list of where you can get them. But Cool Springs Wine and Spirits, we're in a bunch of different places. We're the only wine. If you go to Jason Aldean's bar downtown Broadway, if you're drinking wine there, that's the only wine you can get.
Oh,
it's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's a good placement right there.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to hold his weight somewhere. Yeah. He's got to fucking,
He's quite the slacker.
Yeah. So we, he wasn't a part of it early on, and it was just Cassie and I in the story. And so Jason, obviously his mother, Debbie, is fantastic, but Jason and Cassie, they're the only siblings in the family. And the dynamic is that they have the same dad, right? So Vivian helped raise Jason when the family Cassie was with Jason in the summer times. So he knows that Cuban culture really well. Debbie, his mom, raised Jason and obviously Barry whenever he showed up. Where is he? Whenever he showed up, Barry, you just got to show up for your. I'm kidding. Barry,
just to be clear, Momoa or Aldean?
Aldean,
okay.
Jason Aldean. Thank you, sir. Could you imagine if Jason Momoa was my brother-in-law? Shit, I'd be getting bar fights all the time. I'm like, take it over, Jason. Got it. So he saw what was happening with the wine and was like, man, this is really cool. He's like, I want in. I want a part of it. And so now we're I guess we're a celebrity driven wine, but with all of our partners, we got a lot of good stuff that's happening with the wine. So we're on every single Princess cruise ship. There's like 16 to 18 ships. We're on all the cruise ships. We've got relationships with Kroger now, and it's a full-time deal. Like we're in all the ABC liquors down in Florida. Yeah. We're growing. We're in Shaner Group hotels, which is a lot of different Marriotts around the world. We're going to Dubai strictly for the wine. Cassie and I Jason's out is touring, so he's not going, but
slacker.
I know, he's stupid. But it's really interesting. It started out as something to do that was fun for the family, and just be like, cool, man, we can have this, say we did this for the family. It's Mellorosa. This is the story, and just kind of circulate it through our friends and family. But now it's actually turned. I'd be
damn, it became something.
It's not easy. It's being in the spirits world and having your own.
Yeah.
If you want it to, you got to be involved. Like a lot of these, we don't even lead with the celebrity aspect of it. Like if I'm on the phone with you right now and you're let's say you're the biggest Marriott guy in the world and you got like 150 Marriotts that you run, and I want to be the house wine. The first thing I'm going to tell them is like, listen, yes, we're a celebrity driven wine, but that's not what we're about. I was like, this is what we're about. We're family, faith, and freedom. Mellorosa is after my wife's Cuban heritage, and our wine has a heartbeat, a backbone, and a story. And on top of that, the juice that's in the bottle is good. Like we picked it out. What you're drinking is what our family loves to drink. And that's the story. Not that Jason Aldean has his own wine. That no one cares.
Right.
And I told Jason that to his face. I'm like, dude, I got good, dude. No one cares that if you have a wine. They care if it's good and if it has meaning.
Yep.
Just like your songs, right?
Well, everybody falls in love with the story of something.
Right.
Look at all the high-end bourbons that everybody wants. It's because bourbon has a story. It has a life to it.
Right.
And so, yeah, I totally understand that.
So when you see it in the stores, you see Mellorosa, you see the background on the bottles, like all the flowers that grow in Cuba. And there is no like Jason Aldean's wine, Mellorosa.
Right.
That's not what it is.
Right.
Or Chuck or Cassie, it's just not what it is. So we want the wine to be able to stand on its own, because that's the only way it's going to be good. That's the only way there's going to be longevity.
Well, I mean, that takes a little bit of your time. And then you decided, hey, maybe I'll start this whole Shiners thing too. So
Yeah.
dude, the Shiners thing, I absolutely love it.
Have you seen the show?
Yes, I've seen the show.
All right, good.
So where did this idea come from? And explain to everybody listening, like what it is. Cause I don't really know how to explain it, other than it's like a cross of, I don't know, Cirque du Soleil, a Broadway play, and
drop the
stand up.
Drop the Broadway part. So it's when did you go to the show? Early on or like later?
Probably early on, maybe 2 years ago.
All right, so you need to come back. We were 3.5 years deep.
Change it up a little bit.
We got some different acts. It's like anything. The first time you do a show is like you're kind of figuring out the kinks.
It was so good, man.
Oh, good. All right, so you saw it.
It was one of those. You're like, you can't go into that show with any anticipation of what you're about to see.
No, you need to go into that show ready to have fun and have zero expectations, because I can't explain. It's hard to explain to you what it is. Really, it's Cirque meets adult comedy is what it is. Yeah. All the Cirque acts, if you ever went to any of the Cirque shows out in Vegas, they're all from Vegas. All the Cirque acts that we got, they're all from Vegas. They were in Beatles Love Cirque. They were in Absinthe. They were in Le Rev. They were in all the biggest shows out there that maybe people have seen when they go out there. And we signed them to a year contract here. And a lot, I would say right now, all the people that have been in the show are fantastic. But as far as a collective, this is the best iteration, I think, of the show we've ever had from day one. Now,
so like, how involved are you? Like, I know you're in it.
So
you produce it.
Yeah, wrote the show. It's in the Woolworth Theater. So I'm co-owner of the Woolworth Theater. I have, how this started. You asked how it started. I had been writing this show since a little bit before COVID and then through COVID. And then the show was kind of written and done. And then we just kind of pushed pause because we had to find a place to put it. Well, the world was shut down. So we found the Woolworth out of COVID. It used to be a restaurant called Woolworth on 5th. It shut down because it just didn't have success or whatever happened. And the building became available and it had high ceilings. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I need a building with high ceilings because we have people flying through the air and stuff like that. So that's how I had one investor in this project with me. So it's just the two of us and we just put it together, man. And at Nappy Tabs is a choreography group who are great. It's Napoleon and Tabitha, a married couple, but they're J-Lo's choreography team for like 15 years. They do a lot of the Grammys, the Disney specials on ABC for Christmas. They're executive producers of So You Can Dance. So they're super popular, super, well known in that world. I didn't really know who they were until I started working with them. I'm like, holy shit, these people, this is legit. And so wrote the show with those guys. And
did you get the idea from? Have you seen something like this before?
I modeled.
Or is it just you sat around one day going, let's think of some crazy shit. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, this works. People actually enjoy this.
Yeah, I saw the show. I knew I wanted to do a Cirque style show. And I went to Vegas and did some homework and stuff. And when I saw the show Absinthe, I was blown away by how like eclectic the acts were, how it moved, how interactive it was, how small it was. Because most Cirque shows are giant. They're huge, right? So I was excited about that. And I was like, I really need I want to model the show in Nashville around this. So I was like, well, what is Nashville's version of Absinthe? And because in Absinthe, you drink absinthe and it gets crazy and that allows you to see all the weird shit. I'm like, what is that for Nashville? And I was like, moonshine. So I'm like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have a family of moonshiners and you got your crazy uncles and you got your, cousins and all that bullshit. And let's what they do, how does it incorporate into create, like, it's Welcome to the Shiner family reunion. If you take a sip, you're part of the family, you can see the rest of the secrets of the shine. So you can see why we're basically a shit show. And so, it's like our cousin, cousin Buck is a contortionist, right? Well, cousin Buck, when he starts drinking this moonshine, we call it loose shine. So when he drinks it, he's like, oh shit. And then that allows him to start now contorting. We have the Bow brothers in the show, who are the strong guys. They're called a hand-to-hand act. They balance off each other, and they're phenomenal. They're definitely one of the hits of the show. But they drink Love and Shine, okay, but they think they're drinking Muscle Shine because they're jacked up. Well, they drink Love and Shine because they switch it up. Well, now that they drank Love and Shine, they have a moment where they fall in love, and now they're doing all these crazy, like actually really, it's hard to explain, but really talented acrobatics. But they're doing it in a facetious way where they're like, they just drank Love and Shine. So we get weird with it.
Dude, it is
we get
so
weird with it.
Entertaining.
Thank you.
Like I'd highly recommend anybody who hasn't seen it to go check it out. Actually, what I want to do, anybody who listens to this podcast, go to my Instagram and send me a DM that you want to go see the show. And I'm going to pick somebody to send to the show, give them 2 free tickets because you got to check it out.
Who's giving you free tickets?
I was about to say, hey, bud, can you give me some?
You know, I've never seen the show. So.
Oh, here, we got one. That's what I tell people, by the way.
What's up?
If you're going to Shiners, no expectations. I get a little nervous. Just have fun. Like drink, have fun, watch the shit show. But I get a little nervous when my friends say they're coming. Because some of my friends are like, I wouldn't say not fun, but they're like a little more straight-laced. You know, like they don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So I'm like, hey, just if you get we say it. Like I say it on the loudspeakers before as people are sitting down.
It's not bad.
No. But I say, hey, if you get offended easily, the door is to your left. And because some people will, like they don't like those immature, Dumb and Dumber jokes.
Yeah, it never gets old. I mean,
I know for us,
fart jokes are always going to be good, no matter how old you are.
Yeah, except Karen down the street. That's what I'm saying. We get a couple Karens in there every once in a while.
They're just at the wrong place.
And they walk out and they're like, oh my God, that was disgusting. I'm like, all right, doing my job.
That will not be a repeat customer.
I'm like, see you later.
All right, man, let's get into something a little more serious. So you and your wife, Cassie, you've been very open about your battle with infertility as a couple wanting to grow your sweet family. Talk a little bit about that journey, how long it lasted, and ultimately what it felt like when you found out Cassie was pregnant with Tucker.
Yeah. So let me get it out of the gate. When you say infertility, 100% my fault. I didn't have a lot of swimmers. My wife, so when I married Cassie, I married into 3 girls, 26, 25, 15, and they are now. I met Avery, the 15-year-old. I met Avery when she was 7. So now I like to say I've known you more than half your life because she just turned 15. And it was such a joy to jump into a marriage with a person that I'm just absolutely just in love with, and then having an immediate family as a stepdad. Yeah. Their dad is in their life and does great, and that we love that. And I know where my role is as stepdad. And so I always wanted to have my own blood. And Cassie, thank God, was like, yes, I would love this. Because I got married when I was 40, so it's not like we were like 28, 29, let's start a family. I mean, it was like, you had to think about it. You're like, all right, I didn't have to think about it, but I was like, I was curious what her thoughts were because, she's no spring chicken either, So we talked about it. It was like an immediate, like, let's go for this. And we just couldn't get pregnant. And I was like, what is happening? Like, I'm doing the job, I'm getting it done.
Putting in the work.
She's smiling, she's happy about it.
She must like it.
She must like it. It must be something must be right. And we just couldn't get pregnant. I'm like, so we went to a fertility doctor, and it comes out that like, yo, you don't have a lot of, your sperm count's like way low, like nothing basically. And so we did the whole process where, I would store my sperm. Like it's so weird, man. It is so weird. It's like, it was like something out of a movie. I had to go in And guys, there's only one way to get the sperm. Okay, there's only one way to get it. All right. Well, actually, there's two ways. They can surgically go in and retrieve sperm.
So it's not like a dairy. You just.
It kind of is like it's kind of like milking a cow. Next thing you know, you got something happening. So
Where do you leave? See you next week, Chuck.
All right, see ya. Sorry, do you guys have any paper towels? Anyway, so you go into this little room, and you're by yourself, and there's a chair, and then there's a sink, and then there's magazines. This is real stuff.
Going old school.
This is real stuff. And I walk in, I'm like, I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is the way I have to get my wife pregnant.
What decade are the magazines though?
They were pretty
like 70s or?
No, I think there was a 9 in there. I think it was 90s for sure.
Nice.
Maybe you could ask. I didn't know. Maybe you could ask. I'm like, could I get 1976 episode?
I'm needing more hair.
Yeah, this is grody.
Like Muammar Gaddafi in a leg lock. Okay.
Well, when I walk in, I see the first thing I think about is like, who was in this room before me? Because I know what they did.
Magazine?
I know what they did. I'm sorry, pages 36 and 37. I can't get it open.
It's like trying to open an envelope.
Do you have an envelope opener? Anyway, so I'll spare you the details, but every time you store your sperm, it's like $500 a month. It's $500.
Did they pay you?
No.
Oh,
I have to pay for the storage because they put it.
You can't just put it in your freezer.
Here you go. I got a couple ice. I don't know.
This one's for the deer. Yeah. Don't open that one.
I think one of the meat packages got a little. That's why it's red. Anyway, it's so gross. So something that I didn't think I was going to talk about today. So I think we stored 3 vials of sperm. So $1,500 of sperm is sitting there waiting for Cassie to do her part, which is the shots, all that stuff to get ready so they can retrieve the eggs. So they get I knew I didn't have a lot of swimmers, right? So
they just save up with
they just save it all there.
Together. Okay.
And I think if I remember correctly, now it's been 6 years, but or 7, really. I think when we're about to do the egg retrieval and put it all together, I think they took a fresh sample sperm that day, so it's fresh and not the frozen. Because the frozen ones some of them die through the process and all that stuff. So they try the fresh one first. Mm. And then if they have to, they go to the ones that you stored. Well, the fresh ones, they're like, nothing. There's no viable sperm. I'm like, get out of here. They're like, it's nothing. They're like, we're going to go check the frozen ones. Dude, they found out of the 3 vials, you got to realize there's millions of sperm, millions. They found 2. Not 200, not 2,000 out of millions. They found 2 viable sperms to try to make it happen with their eggs. So what we do, long story short, they go, well, we're going to put the sperm in this egg and we're going to put the other sperm in this egg. And we're going to wait overnight to see if it took. And then
just like that.
Yeah. And they call
us
a
straight up science experiment.
It is. Yeah, it is. And they call us the next day and so we're waiting patiently. And we're like, oh my gosh, we only have two chances. What is happening? And, they had a hard time finding the 2. So just think about this. They put it in like a petri dish, basically. They put it in a dish and because they couldn't find any, they would put basically a caffeine shot. Think about it that way.
To wake
them up. And then they look at the ones that are viable. That's how they found the 2. We wait the next day. They go, hey, one of them. One didn't take.
Wow.
Only one of them took. And that was Tucker. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. That is incredible.
So he is literally, I mean, babies in general are miracles. I mean, it's God's work.
I literally have that in my notes. It said, every parent thinks their kid's a miracle. Tucker legit is a miracle.
He's definitely a miracle. And, you know, that it was a, God, man, there were so many different levels. If anybody's going through, you know, in vitro or whatever, you know, whatever process you're doing to get pregnant, it is a very emotional process.
Right.
There are a lot of ups and downs. The best thing you can do is just be there for your partner. Be like, I was there obviously for Cassie, and Cassie was there for me.
She had to be there for you. I mean obviously that's got to hit a man where
she was doing the hard part.
I want to create a family, and you can't carry that responsibility that this is my fault.
Well, I had no issues with saying, you know, like, oh, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know why I have a low sperm count, but like, I was like, I was trying to, I stopped wearing tight jeans. I wore loose stuff. I mean, there's a thing to it, but I was just like, I wonder if it's from, cause I did, Ironmans or swim, bike, run.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I was on a bike a lot. I was riding bikes all the time. And I was like, I wonder if that's what it's from. And during that process, leading into trying to get pregnant, I was drinking. I was like, well, I wonder if I was drinking, I wonder if like alcohol, or I wonder if my diet, or I wonder if I was doing all these things. And I'm like, I don't know what it is.
So what are the doctors saying? None of that affects any of it, really?
Well,
it is what it is.
Yeah, they can't pinpoint it like, this is why you have low sperm count. They couldn't tell me that.
Yeah.
But you know, Tucker made it, and through that process, there was a lot of scary situations. I mean, we would do the 4D. You ever doing 4D where you can see the baby?
Yeah.
I've never done it.
So we were very excited, obviously, and we were doing 4D, and we would see these great pictures of Tucker, and he looked super cute in the womb, and just like, we're like, can't wait. Had a lot of hair and all this stuff, and so a week prior, because we did the 4D like on our own. So we did that because we were so anal about like, well, I want to make sure he's still there, all that stuff. So we would do that on our own for an outside company, a third party, where insurance and all that stuff, you go to the doctor for the checkups. We would do those. Well, all the checkups were fine, and all their 4Ds were fine. Well, like the last checkup we had to do with Tucker, the doctor, you get these percentiles, you know, of your baby's head is in the 90th percentile. Right. The legs, the arms are 70th percent, 80%, all this stuff. The last checkup with the doctor calls us because, hey, we're going to deliver this baby in a week, and just want to let you know that everything looks good except for his arms. He said the limbs on his arms were in the 1 percentile. 1. We're like, 1? Like, what do you mean? And we actually were pretty upset about the process and how this doctor delivered the news to us.
Yeah.
We're like, we don't understand, because we've been going to 4D on our own. We can see his arms clear as day. We see them. They're right here. We've gone to you this last 3-4 times or whatever it was. Everything's normal. So now all of a sudden the last week, it's a 1 percentile. Everything else is normal except his arms. Like this. I go, what does that mean? He goes, well, you know, listen, I just want to prepare you. Saying this back blows my mind that the doctor handled it this way. At the same token, I appreciate him being upfront about it, but I feel like something's not adding up.
Delivery was
like a little. You could deliver this baby, and it could have basically nubs for arms, and we're like, the fuck out of here. How do you go? We literally were like, how do you how does that happen? I'm like, because we've been doing we don't know. Like, it could be that they are pretty big in the womb right now, and our cyst machine, it could be hidden underneath where we can't see it. So imagine this. We go through this whole process, and doctor delivers this news. We have all the emotional process of like finally getting pregnant. Jeez. It's going great. Oh my gosh, she's healthy. Blah, 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 blah. And then a week before, we get news from our doctor like, hey, baby could be delivered with like basically no arms. And we're like, so we had it for a week straight. Oh. So imagine that emotion that we were going through, like being like, and I remember when Tucker was born, the minute I saw like that he was there, all of his limbs were there. Oh man, it's like crazy.
Such a God thing, man.
It's crazy.
So what did they end up saying? It just read wrong, or
we went to a different doctor, and they're like, I don't know, that's what kind of pisses us off a little bit, because we went to another doctor, and asked her and sent her all the numbers and all that stuff on the charts and what we were getting throughout the process of the pregnancy. She's like, yeah, this doesn't really make sense. Like, I don't see that. She's like, I think you guys are going to be fine. And we're thinking to ourselves like, probably could have taken the news that way. Like, hey, listen, your baby looks great. Been normal numbers all the way up to the last week. Like, probably this is the error here. I just want to let you know, be aware of it, but don't worry about anything. Everything's gonna be fine. Anyway, so Tucker's born, freaking fantastic, beautiful baby. One of the best moments of my life. And Cassie's, we had Tucker during COVID. So it was no one was allowed in the room. It was just me and Cassie.
That's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah. No one could visit us in the hospital. So it was just Cassie and I and the doctor and the nurse the whole time. And I loved it because we weren't bombarded with 15 family members.
And you and him, I can tell, have a special relationship.
Oh man, Tucker's my dude.
Yeah.
Tucker's my guy. And you know, if you follow our story on Instagram and stuff, Tucker's, has autism. He's autistic. He's considered nonverbal. So that's been a journey as well. Sure. But I will say this, he's considered nonverbal. He counted to 10 yesterday.
That's awesome, man. Which
is huge. And it's the best thing. It's the best, he's got he has his quirks about him, but man, from autism, but I mean, it sounds weird to say this. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. He's my son. He's like the best thing ever. He's like the best personality. He's like happy. He's so much fun. He's lovable. He cuddles. He's affectionate.
Well, that relationship with your son is just something you can't explain. Like we had this conversation last night. My son is 16, starting to look at colleges, and he's looking at some stuff that's not exactly close by. Right. And I'm not handling this well at all. So you have a good relationship with your son? Oh yeah, very good relationship. And
is he a pole vaulter like his father?
No, not yet. He's a damn good football player. But thinking about him not being around is like, I'm going to be at the house with nothing but girls for the rest of my life. Like, this is awful. Like, I love my girls, but like not having my dude. Yeah, but do you like hunt with them and stuff?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So he'll always come back.
Like, but I'm losing my best friend, man. Like, he's going to be gone. So
if you got a good relationship, like you say, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, man, after you've dealt with all of this, a couple years later, your damn house gets hit by a tornado.
Oh yeah. A big tornado came through.
So describe that experience. Like, were you there? Were you in the house?
Yeah, we were there. So we had, we sold the house now, but we have, it was crazy. So Jason, when I met Cassie and I ended up moving into her house. Probably that's really the reason why I married her. I mean, she had a nice house. So I was like, yeah, I'm moving. It's not true, Cassie, if you're listening.
You're just an innkeeper.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, you got a pool? I'll be your pool boy. This is great. So Jason had 150 acres. She lived on the 22 acres in the front of that farm. And then, so it was like a little compound. And then Jason sells his 150 acres, builds, we call it Cabo, Tennessee. He builds a big old house on a hill in Spring Hill. And so a new neighbor comes in, but then my in-laws moved in to the front of our 22 acres. So we had our little compound there. And the tornado, so my father-in-law at the front of our property had a tornado shelter he had just put it in. And it's the kind that like, it's not stamps into your, the concrete of your garage. And it holds up to an F3 winds and stuff like that. So we're watching the news. We watch Danielle Breezy. Shout out to Danielle Breezy. She's the best, by the way. If you're ever in a storm, if you're ever like here and turn on Danielle Breezy, because she goes by the street.
She's fantastic. And then the Nashville Severe WX guys.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, they're awesome.
Okay, well, I'm sure they're good, but I'm not straying from Danielle.
She saved your life. I get it.
Danielle Breezy. Listen to whoever you want to listen to. But know this, when you can't hear him anymore, you are screwed, because that means that tornado is very close and took out the power. And that's exactly what happened.
Should be in your safe space.
We were in our safe space for sure. So we're at the house where we don't have a tornado shelter. And this tornado hit at like 3:00 in the afternoon, which, I mean, I guess that's a shining light because you could see it. So usually they come at midnight. Well, why do they do that? So we're in our house. My father-in-law, Barry, goes, "Yo, are you watching the news?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're watching it." They're like, he's like, "I feel like it's coming our way." I'm like, "All right, well, let's just watch it and see what happens." Well, we lived on, Rally Hill was the name. Rally Hill. Like literally the house where our house sits, ironically was called Rally Hill. So if you say Rally Hill, that's our house.
That's your house.
Not anymore. We sold it, but that's where we live. And if you're like, so Kedron and 431 Rally Hill, those 3 words, right? So Danielle Breezy goes, "All right, the tornado, it is big. It is destructive. It is coming your way if you live on this road. Okay, next up, it's going to be Kedron Road." We're like, "Oh shit, Kedron Road." They're like, "All right, if you are at Kedron Road, 431, where that meets, Rally Hill, get down." Dude, that is our house. Like she might as well said,
"Hey, Chuck
Wicks,
it's coming.
Get down." And basically is what she said. And so we're like, "Oh shit." So we grab Tucker.
Say Tucker's what, 3 years old? 4 years?
He would have been like, this would have been like 2, let's just call it 2. He would have been 4 and a half.
Okay.
Are you hearing any wind build up at this point?
So it's just wind. It's just like cloudy and windy. We don't see it yet. Don't hear it yet. They're like, "It is coming your way."
It was rain wrapped. I remember that.
Yeah, it was raining. Yep, it was raining. So we get out and we get in our buggy and like a little golf cart, go up a quarter of a mile up to his house, get into and we had I think we had Memphis and Navy, Jason's kiddos. So it was like, it was the dogs. So we had the dogs, we had my in-laws, Memphis, Navy, Tucker, Avery, and myself and Cassie, all in this tornado shelter. And we're like, and you're just waiting, right? And you're just waiting and you're like, it's got to be coming.
So like the kids panicking and you're having
they're having a blast. No, they're like, "This is cool." Like, well, this is fun. And I don't like, I was actually starting to get concerned. When I get concerned, I get quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm like, I'm dead set on my phone. Then all of a sudden power goes out. I'm like, "Oh shit, this is real." So I'm like, "Hey guys, everybody," because we had to open the shelter open to because once you close it, you're like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, looking, I'm like, "All right, it's going to happen." So I get it. And I had never been in a tornado. And that's how, and I just knew. Like, I've never been in it, but I'm like, "Nope, this is going to happen." Yeah. So it gets dead silent. And then all of a sudden we hear, I mean, I still hear it to this day. And the tornado was an F4. It was big. You can still to this day ride down Eastern Road and see the path of the tornado.
Actually, up in that area on Rowley Hill, it looks like a vacuum cleaner went through. And the thing is that it's hilly.
Yeah. Hit my nephew's house right over there.
So we hear it, and I'm like, holy shit. And I'm just waiting for the house to disappear. I'm just waiting for it to disappear around us. And
so in that moment, are you, of course you got to be scared, but are you more just kind of in shock, just in, okay, this is going to happen, and you're just in that moment?
Just thinking, don't die. That's all you think about. It's like, just please, God, have this shelter, keep me safe. That's all you think about.
Yeah.
Keep my family safe. That's all you think about. You think about your kids. That's all you're thinking about.
Yeah.
You don't think about anything else. You don't care about the house. You don't care about the truck. You don't care about anything. You care about your life, your kid's life. Yeah, everybody in that shelter. It's all you care about. And so we hear it, and then we hear it like kind of go, you can hear it move further away from you. And then we waited a good 5 minutes to make sure it was just out of the area. And I get out, I'm like, how's the house still here? The house is still here. And I walk out, and there's a bunch of trees and debris. I'm like, okay, I see the trees got messed up. So I go down my driveway, and as I'm going down our driveway, which is further back, we have about 15 acres of pasture. It is just nothing but debris. It would look like a bomb went off. I'm like, all I could say was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And I'm like looking at the house, and I see the front of the house is still there. I'm like, I'm gonna go around, the whole back of the house is gonna be out or something. What had happened was, all the debris that was in our pasture and around our house and on our house and in our yard and in our pool and all that stuff, it was from the house across the street. Their entire house was in our yard. And so, and we had a barn. It was an aluminum barn, like a shed.
Mm-hmm.
We had an entire aluminum barn shed that was 1.5 miles down the road. That's where it's from, in our yard. So it was like, because we were like, oh, because it had a certain color to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I felt like going up and be like, we have your barn. It's in our, are we good?
I got to find a picture. So my nephew lived off of whatever the road is that goes across the interstate. There's no exit, but that road right there, before you get down to the main exit right there, there was a sign from literally a highway 7-8 miles away that ended up in his yard.
Oh, that makes sense.
Like it picked it up and took it 7-8 miles.
Well, the reason why we got lucky and our houses weren't destroyed, our tree line was done. I'd spent like $5,000 in cleanup the trees because they were all like, and it looked like a bomb went off. So apparently the tornado came, destroyed the houses, and then when it came over the street, it like lifted up. If this is the house, basically just lifted up over the house that we were in, my in-laws, came back down, destroyed all the trees on the way to our house, and then it got to the corner. It got right before it got to our house. It took a hard right, and you just saw the path. So it's almost like it looked at our house and was like, I'll keep you good, and then took a hard right away from our house. If it would have just kept going straight, it would have been gone. It was, dude. I mean, it's like, I don't know, man. And then we sold the house, and not because of that, but we sold the house and bought a farm 6 miles down the road. So now we're building.
There you go. Now you get to work on a farm.
That's right. I mean, that's what
back to what you wanted.
Back to game one, you know. So back to the Delaware days, but it's exciting, man. Like we got a farm right on the Duck River. It's a bigger farm, and my in-laws are going to build a house. They're building a house on the farm as well. So we'll have our own little compound. And there's something about like with Tucker, we're on 22 acres and we feel extremely blessed. I mean, it's weird talking about building things or having things when a lot of people don't have things, but we feel extremely blessed to be in this position. And as we're building our dream home, because you got to think, when I married Cassie, I walked into a home that was already built, and I've always wanted to build something together. So we're building our dream home right on the Duck River. You can go fishing anytime. And
he doesn't realize that I will take him up on that.
Yeah, I got a guy called Game Warden. Yeah, I did not give him permission. And we're excited for the in-laws to build, and we've got 150 acres, and there's something about just having like your home, like a homestead that you can call yours. And there's something about, I've told Cassie this, I was like, listen, I don't know the future with Tucker, but this will always be, and Avery, this will always be their safe haven. This will always be their spot. Like, no matter what, they can call this home, and there's enough room, and there's enough space. You will always be safe.
It does something to your soul. A lot of people don't understand. Yeah, I talk to, people selling properties all the time. You sell a house, okay, it's fine. You sell a property, it takes your soul.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about having land. We've got a farm down in Marshall County, an hour away. Sometimes I can literally drive down there, sit on the dock for 20 minutes, get my head right, jump in the car, come back, go to work.
Right.
There's just something about having it that just does something to your soul.
It's like the good old days when you had to get on a horse, and I mean, you remember this? No, when you had to get on a horse and take the stake.
Oh, the Oregon Trail, yeah.
And you claim it. You claim it, and it's yours.
Well, brother, I don't know how you do it, man. You're like Ryan Seacrest. That's where you've got 1,000 jobs.
Oh, we both dated Julianne, so I mean, that makes sense.
All right, very last question. Ask all my guests this. What do you love most about living in Middle Tennessee?
What I love most about living in Middle Tennessee is the people. And, I grew up on a farm in Delaware, and what made Delaware special when I grew up there was the people. So it's like houses, right? I mean, you're in real estate, obviously, but like houses are
Joe Biden, of course.
Yeah, Joe Biden, of course, he's from PA. We don't claim. Well, some people claim them in Delaware, but it's there. You have a house, but it's never really a home until you put the right people in it, and a home of love. And I feel like this community is awesome. It's like it's like all of our friends picked Nashville to live.
Yeah.
And it's like going back to high school, college, community. It has all those makings, and you can tell when you're in the right community. I felt like when I went to, because Avery is 15 and she's in high school now. And when I go to her games, because she plays basketball and volleyball, so it reminds me of back home.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different places and cities and that you won't get that. And I think that Nashville in particular, especially the outskirts, really it's the outskirts. It really is the outskirts. Yeah. Nashville is becoming a tourist city, which I think is great. I'm in the business of entertaining tourists, so I love it. But outside of that, we live in Columbia, Spring Hill, that area, Franklin, all these places, Brentwood, whatever you want to call Cold Springs, all these places, especially where we live. We love where we live. Spring Hill, Columbia area, we love it because it's all good old boys. Yeah. It's all, people that you can trust. It's fun, man. I guess it's the community. Is to answer your question.
That's usually the answer.
Yeah,
it really is. It really is people.
The people make the place. I mean, always. It doesn't matter. So take that.
All right. Well, brother,
it's like this room right now. It'd be so much better if we had like a couple other people here that were kind of cooler, you know?
I'm trying.
I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at you when I said that.
He was looking at me.
Such a dick.
I know, I'm a suit chick. Hey, when you see me in the gym, do you think like, you're like, Chuck's such a dick. So there's a bunch of people that came to that go to the gym. They're like, hey, we're coming to your Shiners show. And I had to warn them. I'm like, listen, because I didn't know, I only knew like two of them. They're like bringing all this, because the same people go to the gym at the same time. So I was like, hey, you need to warn the people, like, this ain't Chuck from the gym. Because Chuck me at the gym.
Just quiet, reserved to yourself.
I just think I'm either on the phone or like working out in my own space. Even when I see you, I'm just like, what up?
What up?
Like, we don't sit and have like a conversation sometimes, but for the most part, not, because we're in and out. And I had to warn him. I was like, listen, there's going to be a lot of dick jokes and stuff on stage. And it's funny, ever since they saw me on Shiners now they come up to, hey, what's up, man? What are you doing? I'm like, what's up? Because they figure out you're
a lot more outgoing than you lead on in public sometimes. But a lot of people that, you know, are kind of in the spotlight, like you are that way. Yeah. You know, it's just, hey, you gotta be very friendly to a lot of people, and you're a very friendly guy, but you also have to have your time. Otherwise you'll fall apart. Like I tell people all the time, I'm professionally friendly. Like I get along with people all that, but when I'm on my own, like I gotta have my time. I gotta be left alone. Yeah. That's why I deer hunt and fish, just get away from everything.
There's good deer on the property, by the way. But I can't let you do that. Well, I just want to let you know that there was good deer on the. I'll show you a picture when we get off.
I know where it is, so I don't really need permission to.
I would recommend you read that sign on the front of the property.
All right, brother. Appreciate your willingness to be vulnerable, man. This was a fun one. This was fun.
I love being vulnerable with you.
You're the best.
I want to try to end this podcast as awkward as possible.
It's getting really weird.
I know.
Yeah.
Gosh, can you tell that I don't have pants on in this interview?
Yes.
Chuck, I love you.
I love you too. Say it like a deeper.
Chuck, I love you.
There you go. A little deeper. You got to whisper.
All right, bye.
All right.